Alright class, so we just had a do now where we went over what variables, terms, and coefficients are. And this is all review. You should have this down on your word wall at the beginning of your binder. So now we're going to get straight into it. So we're going to be solving two-step equations today, as my team teacher earlier noted in the objective and the do now. We're going to do this by filling out a couple of equations at the end and figuring how to solve for variables. So when we look at this equation, x over 3 plus 15 equals 45, where we're solving for x, there's certain things that we need to do in order to figure out what x is. First thing we need to do is identify our terms, our coefficients, and our variable. So, follow along in your guided notes. You have the same problem in here. You're going to box your variable. You're going to circle. You're going to circle your terms. And then you're going to underline your coefficients. So, as we learned earlier, a coefficient is a number attached to a variable. A term is a number itself. And our variable is a letter. So we do not know what the variable is, and we'll be searching for this. So now, you're going to give me a number. So you're going to raise your finger, a 1, a 2, or a 3. If it's a 1, it's a term. If it's a 2, it's a variable. If it's a 3, it's a coefficient. So I need everyone to participate. So, number 1, is f, what is that, a term, a variable, or a coefficient? So I need a 1, 2, or 3. What's that?
Variable.
It's a variable. Exactly. So, I need everyone's hand. So, on your guided notes, you're going to put a V right next to f. It's a variable. You're solving for it. It's a letter. Next, 2. So I need fingers on this. Is it a negative 16? Is it a term, a variable, or a coefficient? A 1 is a term, a 2 is a variable, and a 3 is a coefficient. Need all fingers. Perfect. Perfect. 1. So it is a term. Follow along in your guided notes. I know this marker doesn't work well, but please listen up. 3. Negative 16f. Is it a term, a variable, or a coefficient? 1, 2, or 3? I need all fingers. I need all hands. 2 seconds. 2 seconds. One hand. One hand. Just give me one hand. Oh, no. How many fingers? 1, 2, or 3? All right, 3. Perfect. So that's the coefficient. So we're going to write that in. So since we now know what terms, variables, and coefficients are, and we're very, very, very comfortable with these terms, what we're going to do next is we are going to figure out how to solve this equation. So you've identified everything, you've circled it, you've underlined it, and you've boxed it. The next thing you are going to do, see, terms, variables, coefficients, they all want to be separate. You want to get your variable all by itself. So we want x all alone. We want no one next to it. You want everything else on the other side of the equal sign. So to do that, we're going to do the opposite. So this term, 15, you're adding 15 to the coefficient. So you want to subtract 15 from both sides, because what's that? That's the golden rule. Osaze, what's the golden rule?
You want to subtract, you want to do the opposite to each side.
So what? You want to do what to what side?
The opposite of each function.
Louder.
The opposite function to each side.
So you want to do what you do to one side to the other, correct?
Yeah.
Say that one more time.
You want to do what you do to one side to the other.
Perfect. So you're going to subtract 15 from both sides. Remember, we want everything to be linear, so you're going to bring down this equal sign here. You're going to do simple math here. 45 minus 15, 30. Now, what happens? What's negative 15 plus positive 15? Misan?
0.
0. So this just crosses out. You don't even need to include this. You're going to bring down this plus sign, and you're going to bring down the coefficient. So right now, this translates to x over 3 equals 30. I need everyone to be following along your guided notes. So, with your partner, you are going to write on a whiteboard the opposite of every single function. So there are 4 functions that we know: division, multiplication, addition, and subtraction. You and your partner, for another minute, are going to write. So, if you are adding 15, what do you have to do to both sides?
Subtract 15.
Subtract 15.
And so now you're going to figure out all the opposites of every single function. So I'm going to give you a minute for that. I'm going to come around, check your answers. So please, get to work on that. All right. Give me the other 30 seconds. Can I see everyone's whiteboards, please? Great. Hold them up. Let your classmates see them. Thank you. Seems like everything's all set. Okay, now, so we need to solve for x. This is x over 3. This is not x. So this coefficient, we want to do the opposite of the function that is here. If you are dividing, what are you doing?
Multiplying.
Multiplying what?
Multiplying
By 3.
Now you're doing this to one side or both sides?
Both sides.
Perfect. So, your next step, you're going to multiply by 3 on both sides. So what happens when you divide 3 by 3?
It cancels out.
Cancels out. It's 1. So, you're going to bring x down. You're going to bring x down here. Remember, you want all the equal signs to be linear because we want this to be neat and organized. And 30 times 3?
90.
Perfect. 90. So, we are almost done. Our answer is x equals 90. So, what you normally do is you box it. There's one more step that we all need to do. You need to check your answers. Why is it important that you check your answers? Well, for this class specifically, if you don't check your answers on an exam or on work, you won't know if you made a mistake. And if you don't know you make a mistake, you lose points. On our exams, on our homeworks, it is required that you check. So how do you check to see if you solved properly for x? What you're going to do is you're going to plug in the number 90 into x. All right, I'm done. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you, class.